people in Africa here, in South Africa to be specific. Why am I getting a low battery on my iPad? Let me just pause this for a second. I'll be back. Everybody, it is a Tuesday, and today we're talking about something that has always been close to, the main reason why I started this channel, and why I kind of like decided to get onto this boat of talking about design careers and things like that. Okay, just one more minute. I hear some people calling me in the background. Alright, cool. So yeah, I have children around and kids around. It's fun working at home. Some people kind of had it as a pandemic thing. I decided to kind of take on this journey and work from home full time, and maybe I'll throw in a little bit of that into the conversation as well around doing remote work and things like that. Now you're gonna hear probably some background noise from my generator. This is one of those load shedding episodes. If you don't know what load shedding is, you definitely haven't watched enough of the show or know enough about South Africa. But if you are new to the show, load shedding is basically where we run this on generator power because the power utility is down, and we have a little bit of background noise. But anyway, other than the background noise, the load shedding editions are basically the same conversations, right? Now, before I jump into today's conversation around how to deal with burnout, how to pick the right work, the right clients, how to give the value and be compensated for the value that you bring, right? And how to choose, right? I'm gonna go into a little bit of a deep dive in there, and I want to talk more about the career choices, the journey around how we make career choices, rather than some of the practical steps that I usually talk about on the channel, when it comes to emerging technology, and there are things that I think you should be following the trends, etc., right? I want to go a little bit deep on this one today and chat about career decisions, life decisions, what you should be thinking about, and at least what I think about when it comes to career choices, and some of the things that help me sleep at night. Now, your mileage may vary because we might be on different boats. There might be a lot of different things that are happening that are different to my world, right? And how you see things, right? Let me zoom in a little bit. Oh, not so much. Go back. There we go. Right. Now, your mileage may vary on this topic around your breaking point when it comes to burnout, around the type of work that you want to do. But I think the general concept that I will be discussing today kind of like applies in most of these cases that we find ourselves in as UX designers, product designers, people within this UX design space. But before I jump into that, I would like to invite you guys to the Do Better UX community. Now, I'm really ramping up things by showing up more on the live stream, more on the podcast, and you will be seeing more and more blog posts on the website, which is dobetterux.com. And there you'll be able to kind of track what we're doing on a weekly basis. But I think most importantly, what I would like to call out this week is please do join our newsletter. That way, when you miss anything, you kind of get the weekly roundup in one package where you can see what are the live streams that we've had, what is the podcast, and you can pick and choose what you'd like to consume that week. So that is my invitation to you today. Please check out dobetterux.com, sign up for our newsletter, and let me keep you updated on some of the things that I think are interesting, that I found interesting within that week. I think right now we are in that technology season where we are seeing Google I/O happening, we are seeing Apple conferences happening, and I think there's a lot that's going to come out of that space, right? And I will be talking about how all that impacts the UX design space, what new career roles and spaces are going to come and emerge out of that. And I'm super interested to have you on the journey with me. It's a learning experience. That's what this community is about. There will be experts that will be part of the community that will be able to probably bring better insights than me, but I would just like to bring everyone in together and we can explore. I think there's such an we're quite in a fascinating time of technology, right? And I think maybe probably everyone said this in their time when it comes to technology, right? But I think we live in quite a fascinating time when it comes to technology, where there is so many things that are happening around us, new things that are evolving, new ways of doing things, and new products that are coming out of this space, right? Most of which are gonna fail. But the most important thing is that early adopters and people who do it early on usually catch on and become experts in the field. Let me not get too deep into, I don't know what that conversation is. I really want to get into the conversation that I want to talk about today after that introduction and inviting you over to the Do Better UX community. The newsletter is one way, or you can interact with us over on the LinkedIn group that we have. Those are the two ways that you can interact with the community right now. Let me grab some water and we'll jump into the session. Now, if you're joining us on the live stream or you are watching this after the fact, I think you've seen that we've done a logo update. I'd like to know in the comments section, what do you guys think about that? If you go into our community group, you will be able to see, the kind of like two options that I'm playing around with, and let me know what you guys think. Let's check a little bit on Twitter. Let's check a little bit of what's happening on. My Twitter is just like filled up with like mixed reality stuff, right? Let's check a little bit of what's happening on LinkedIn. Now, this is an experiment that I've been doing over the past week. I am trying to expand my reach onto other social media platforms. So I have a TikTok account now. I've got a Facebook account in many years after swearing that I will never use Facebook again. I've got an Instagram account again. That has been an on and off thing. And what else? What else did I create an account on? kind of like, the top major platforms. Okay, so we are obviously our podcast, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Okay, and our newsletter. Okay, cool. Yeah, so let me get into the topic today. This song is a little bit creepy and depressing. Let me just skip this. Okay, let's find the right music for the mood, right? Let's set the mood right, and we can really get into this topic today. Let's look for. Alright. Now, sometimes when I play this stuff off Spotify, I have no idea whatsoever if, I might get a strike or whatever it is, the copyright strike or one of those things is, right? So I never know. Alright, cool. It's so hard picking music for the live streams, and if you have any tips out there, please let me know. Be super keen to find out what people use out there. I sometimes just work with some of the things that I see, but anyway, let's put that up there, and let's get into the conversation today. So yeah, as I've mentioned, today I want to talk about a few topics: choosing the right clients, right? Avoiding burnout, and preserving your value as a product designer, UX designer, and we'll get into the bits and pieces around that, right? And some of the things that I think are important to speak about, some of the experiences that I've had, right? So let me get into it, right? Every now and again, I find that in my career, I need to reset. I need to stop myself in the tracks and think about what I am doing, who I'm serving, what am I actually trying to achieve within my career, how do I want to live my life, what is the lifestyle that I want to have, etc., right? And this happens to me in times where I start feeling burnout, in times where I start feeling that probably clients are taking advantage of the work that I'm doing, or of the relationship that we have, rather, right? And sometimes it's just a matter of not having growth anymore, right? It's just a matter of, okay, I have been doing this thing for so long, and it doesn't excite me anymore. I don't see any growth doing this. Or maybe the field has got a lot more potential for growth, right? But there just isn't any kind of movement in the way that I am currently doing things. Now, this light here is flickering, and I might need to get up and switch it off, or make it face somewhere else. But I hope that it doesn't affect you guys so much. So yeah. That's really the essence of this conversation and where it's coming from. So I do these resets in my career every year, every 8, 10, 12 months, whatever the time might be. And this is just to help me really reorientate myself and recalibrate myself into a different direction, a different way that I'm facing, right? So I think I've had maybe about 4 or 5 turns, right, in my career where I found this, moving from traditional 9 to 5 work, right, to getting into freelance work, moving from freelance work to getting into consulting work, and most recently it has really been around this hybrid way of working where I share and document what is actually happening in my career, try to build a conversation around it, a whole brand around it, which is dobetterux.com, right? And have this conversation with you folks, right? So that's where it comes from. But let's talk about let's get into the meat and potatoes of the story, right? Like that term, meat and potatoes, right? Let's talk about 2 things that I think that they're very tied to each other, and then we get into how do you protect yourself from those 2 things. So clients can be very toxic and abusive, whether you're hired traditionally as an employee or you're hired as an independent consultant or a freelance or whatever you want to call it. And you might not see it, just like anyone in an abusive relationship, right? And until it gets to a point where you figure out that you're actually not growing and expanding, right, as a person, right, and you're kind of like in this loop, right? And looking back at my clients now, I don't think I've had the disadvantage to be in places where I don't see that this is happening, or actually had that happen to me at all, right? I think I've worked with pretty good clients, pretty honest and dedicated people, pretty open people, right? And I appreciate that. It's rare to find. I speak with some of the people that are in this industry, and some of the experiences that they have with their clients are really terrible, right? For lack of a better word. But I haven't had so much of that. Maybe in the early days when I was employed, and maybe in my very, very, very early freelance days when I was doing graphic design work for print and things like that, it was a little bit rough. But as I have matured and gotten to where I am now, I've kind of been lucky really to have the type of clients that I had. And shout out to you if you're watching this. The people that I work with, I really appreciate the business that you bring, and the relationships that we have. But let me get back to picking and choosing the right clients, right? Like, I've seen a lot of experiences and spoke with a lot of people that have had these experiences where you find that they are actually in very bad abusive relationship. Now, what is a abusive relationship in a professional environment, right? It's when somebody is undervaluing your work, right? And not paying you enough. That's number 1, or not paying you at all, right? Number 2 is when somebody thinks that they pay you a lot, you feel that they pay you a lot as well, and you cannot switch off, right? You cannot switch off. This person pays you so much money. they can call you any time of the day, 24/7. You're kind of like working all the time, right? And that speaks to work-life balance and some of the things that I think I want to get into this stream if it doesn't get too long. I see I'm already 26 minutes in. I'd like to cut it a little bit short, just under an hour. So let me speed up the points that I want to talk about. And the other abusive thing is when people actually just don't value your work and your say. They hire you to kind of like know that, you know, you're the person who's got the technical know-how to use the tools, but you're really there to be told what to do, not necessarily kind of use your expertise to be able to execute the job the most efficient way or the best way possible, right? So I think those are the three things, right? Let me try and recap them from the top of my head. First one is when somebody doesn't pay you well. The second one is when somebody overpays you and they kind of mistreat you because of that amount that they're paying you. And the third one is really around when somebody doesn't value your work at all. They know that you've got the technical skills to use, you know, Photoshop, Sketch, Figma, whatever it is, but they're actually just really there to tell you what to do. And this can become something that is kind of like breaking and can reach out, can end up in burnout, right? And that's what I'd like to cover in our discussion today, right? Those are the things that I want to talk to and get in a little bit, right? So the importance of having the right clients is really around you know, being able to protect yourself, right? Being able to make sure that you feel, right, that you actually appreciate it in the work that you do. You have the autonomy to actually direct the work, be able to you know, bring your full value and not just be told what to do because you have the skills to be able to, you know, drive a certain technical piece of software, right? That's number one. Number two is identifying clients that not only give you that autonomy but pay you the right amount and give you the space and time to do your work in the most reasonable way. Now, everyone is working in a very urgent way. They need to get these things out, and that's just the nature of the world that we're living in right now, right? Everybody is working on things that they need to get out, and these things need to be out as soon as possible. Everything is urgent in the world that we're living in, whether you're doing research or whatever it is. You're never going to get a client that is going to say, oh, okay, no, you know, great, we want to do this thing, but yeah, let's do it in the next month or whatever it is. Or we've got all this runway, right? Because every minute, every time that they're spending on this project, you are spending on this project, somebody's spending money on, right? And it really speaks to efficiency and getting, you know, the most out of your money if you are a client, right? So those are some of the things that you need to think about, right? In the importance of having the right client. It's something that, you know, avoids burnout, something that will help you with the sanity of actually, you know, having not losing the passion in the work that you're doing, right? Number one. Number two, feeling very invested in it because you're getting paid well in what you're currently doing. And the third thing is that you feel that there is a sense of growth in whatever that you are touching, right? So those things are super important, and I think we need to be able to identify those things when we speak, when we kind of like speak and find the right clients, right? Now, let's get into some very quick tips around how to identify the right clients. Right now, when I say the right clients, obviously all these things are variable based on what you feel, is the right compensation and the right, time that you're putting into things, etc., and the type of lifestyle that you want to live. Right now, I am a father of 4 children, and I prefer to actually live alive, right? Like I want to be able to spend time out there, do different things other than, really do great, exceptional work. I think I value, the time that I spend with my family, the time I spend with friends and colleagues out there, outside of the work context, right? And I also value creative space and time to be able to, grow myself, grow my skill set, and sit back, reflect on things that I'm doing, and be able to have choice. So those are the things that I value. I'm interested to know, what is it that you actually value in your career? Is it the freedom to do more, and you can, take less money for that? Or, are you really looking to unlock the most money value that you can get out of your career, depending on what life stage you are in? Feel free to engage with me in the community or in the chat section below, wherever it is that you want to. The links are in the description below if you want to check out, our page, the group, etc. So let me get into the quick tips, right? So number one, whenever you get a client a lot of clients who pay less, right? And I think this is a very well-known thing. A lot of clients who pay less usually have got the most demands, right? You are basically not going to sleep, and you are going to have to be able to address these clients' demands, basically on the fly, right? Depending on how you structure your client relationships and your business models, this can come back to really bite you, right? And you want to be able to always be aware of clients that are always trying to negotiate you down as much as possible. That these are the clients that you probably gonna do the most work for the least amount of money. So clients who are always trying to negotiate you down to really kind of like low rates, there is always a problem there, right? You need to be aware of that, and that is the first flag, right? The second flag is when clients enforce their ways of working on you. So here's a scenario. They hire you, they're like, yo dude, we understand that you're an expert in this field, 1, 2, and 3, maybe design thinking, maybe product development or whatever it is, but they still tell you what you should actually be doing on a day-to-day work. Now, they should be telling you what the business objective is. Absolutely. They should tell you that, and you should be able to get them to that business objective. That's your role as a product designer, UX designer, whatever it is that you might call yourself. But that is one aspect of it, right? The second aspect is to, for you to be able to have the autonomy to drive that journey, right, from where you are now to where you are going. That's the reason why they hired you. That's where the value you bring comes in, and kind of works through the process that you bring and everything, right? So that's the importance of your work. And when you see a client start kind of like dictating early on in the project which direction you're supposed to take, then you know that there is a big red flag, right? And you kind of need to deal with that, whether by making sure that they understand that these are the type of ways of working that they need to deal with, or whatever the case might be, right? So super important. Another thing is around clients that are willing to pay you every dime, right? And what it is that you sign up for, right? Now, I've had very well high paying clients, and I found in some cases that you find these people knocking into your inbox, or SMSs, or even phone calls, right, in the middle of the night, whatever it is. They understand that you're in a different part of the world, but they kind of like know your time zones. If you're working with international clients, I found that it happens in that scenario a little bit more than when you're working with local clients, because they're usually sleeping at the same time you're sleeping, right? So they want you to call you unless if they're really on the extreme end. But I haven't had those type of extreme cases, right? And usually clients that pay you a lot more kind of understand your value, kind of give you the autonomy to do what you need to do, kind of give you KPIs and goals that you need to reach and hit, right? And that way you'll be able to kind of like stay in good books with them. But there are those clients, right, the old ones, that I've had way many years back, and I've had a lot of the people that I speak with in the networking one-to-ones that I do on a daily basis, right, with the people on LinkedIn and on other communities that I'm in, say that you find out that some people really feel like they have the right to own you because they pay you so much money. You really ask for a high rate, but you did not. The mistake that happens there is that you did not lay down kind of like the rules, the ways of working, set up the right kind of like cadence, of sessions that is dedicated to how you are going to be driving conversations, etc., right? And those expectations are not set, and that's where you find clients kind of like reaching out to you in every way possible form that they can, so that they can kind of get the output or the answers that they need right away, right? I'm gonna leave you with those three things as the tips to kind of like identify which ones are the right clients. You definitely want to go the opposite direction of that, right? Now let's discuss the importance of having the right clients, right? Now the importance of having the right clients is really around avoiding burnout, right? Avoiding burnout, having sanity, be able to lead your life by design, lead your life by the way that you want to work, and be able to really do things in the way that you want to do by design, and not just by random ways of happening. Right now I know that we've got different thresholds of how we want to develop, how we want to get to the next level, etc., and it's really important to know that having the right clients can avoid things like burnout, not only burnout, but I think preserving your value as an expert UX designer or whatever it is that you do, right? These things are important so that you can safeguard yourself, safeguard your growth and development, and keep going in this world. Believe me when I say that there is the right client out there for you. Now I've passed through many paths, had a lot of different clients in a lot of different fields, and I think I kind of know exactly which are the kind of people that I want to deal with, when, etc. And this is really to manage, not only the income that I want to get, but also the lifestyle that I want to live, right? So that I am able to not only provide for my family, but also be able to have the time that I want to be able to share with them. And that's super important to me than, just climbing the corporate ladder and things like that, right? Actually, I reposted something earlier on LinkedIn today where they show the two sets of people on escalators going up, right? And the one obviously is coming down and the other one is going up, normal set of escalators. And there is a group of people kind of like, skipping jobs, and getting a bigger, more salary. And then there's this guy who's got like, spending 5, 6, 8, 10 years in a company and, not getting, a significant growth in the salary. And that is a sign that, loyalty doesn't pay in this day and age. And I think it really needs to be based on the value that you bring, and the second that you stop bringing in value anymore, get out of there, right? Do something else. Go to where people appreciate you more. Go to people where people actually get the value from the work that you do, right? So I think that's the idea around avoiding burnout, kind of like preserving your value as a designer, whoever you work with. These are super important concepts that I use to kind of reset my career every now and again, and establish new sets of clients, new sets of working, and just new ways of doing things, probably for the next 3 to 5 years of my career. That way, things don't get stale, right? And I kind of get I can progress, right, to the next phase, to the next stage of my career that way. Now, if you feel that you found some value in this conversation today, I've realized that there was a lot of drop frames. I think it's because of the power situation within my area. I'm going to try and optimize the stream a little bit more. I think the background around the frame is also causing a lot of drop frames. As well as the 60 FPS. I think I should keep it at FPS because I shoot at 25 frames per second anyway. But yeah, if you found any value in this conversation today and you would like to, proceed with this conversation, have it live with me here on YouTube or on our podcast, which is called Not a UX Designer. Links in the description. Feel free to reach out to me, join our community over on LinkedIn. I have some fresh social media pages that are out there in the wild, but I'm still trying to figure out how to navigate the world of Facebook, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, etc, and TikTok. New territory for me, but I'm really looking forward to expanding the content onto those platforms. But for now, sign up for the newsletter, check out the latest podcast, and looking forward to seeing you on Thursday for our second live stream of the week, where we'll be having more of a topical conversation, probably around tech and kind of things that have come out of Google I/O. I'm really excited about WWDC. I'm not going to be able to stop talking about it probably until after a month or so that is done, because once it's actually happens, we get the excitement of what's actually to come. I'm super interested to know if there's any updates for the iPad, the mixed reality, and how you as UX designers are using these things out there, right? Catch us catch me on Thursday for that conversation if you're interested. Keep track with us every day on social media. LinkedIn is our main place. I will catch you in the next one.